evening, ladies and gentlemen. Harlequin here, and welcome to another game from Dawn of War 2 Retribution. This is actually going to be a 2 versus 2 game for you today. A lot of you have been asking for more team games, so ask and ye shall receive. And hopefully we'll be taking a look at more team games, but obviously I do always love following the 1 versus 1 scene as well. And just as a reminder, people asking all the time when the next video is coming out, if you want to know exactly when it's out, please feel free to follow me on Twitter if that's your thing. Otherwise, I do have an official forum on GameReplays.org that I update all the time, and all that's out there on my channel. So let's take a look at this. This is the 4-player map Calderis Refinery. I kind of enjoyed the design of this map only because it's modeled right after the 2-player version of this map, so they're very similar. It's kind of a deserty nighttime Imperial Refinery, as you can see. So let's take a look at the map real quick, and then we'll get this game started. So as you can see, it does have 3 victory points diagonally right across the middle here, separating both sides of the map. And if you're familiar with the 2-player version of this map, normally this is one starting point here, and way up here is the second starting point, but they kind of dug out the sides of the map, adding a 3rd and a 4th on each side there. So it's a pretty fun game. We'll go ahead and get this started. And first off, let's take a look down here on the southern side. You can see AlwayzLame is playing here today as his Orc War Boss. Just north of that, we have Caeltos playing as his Chaos Sorcerer. Both of these guys are 2 fairly skilled players. You may have seen them both in my pre-released event for Dawn of War 2 Retribution. So they're all just kind of moving out here. They're going to be the blue team today. And on the left-hand side of the map, we have Vintage playing as the Inquisitor for the Imperial Guard. And his ally today is going to be the War Boss played by Hellic for the Orcs. So we've got Orc and Imperial Guard versus Orc and Chaos. So basically the northern side of this map, for the start at least of the game, this map tends to work very column-wise, and in terms of you have just a 1 versus 1 on top and a 1 versus 1 on the bottom. So we're going to see Imperial Guard versus Chaos and a Orc on Orc mirror match until probably mid-game when things tend to mix up a little bit more. Here we can see already the Sentinel is moving in to harass. Sentinel first is a very common build order. Looks like the Chaos Space Marines were able to get the heck on out of the way there, but the Chaos Sorcerer taking a little bit of that stomp. Meanwhile, just having a little bit of melee combat right now with this poor little Inquisitor, who I think is going to be taking a lot of focus fire right now. Doom Blast coming out, or Doom Bolt rather, coming out of that Chaos Sorcerer, doing a fair amount of damage to that Guardsman Infantry squad. And it looks like the Heretics are now moving on in, using the Doom Blast ability right there, doing a good amount of damage and suppressing. Now just kind of splitting up and doing a little bit of worship right now, helping restore a bit of mana for that Chaos Sorcerer, who got another brutal Doom Bolt off there. So on the southern side, as I was saying, we do have Orc on Orc mirror matchup right now. We've got AlwayzLame versus Hellic down here, War Boss on War Boss. Shooter squads. Their build order is a little bit different though. You can see AlwayzLame opted for 2 Shooter Boy squads, whereas it looks like Hellic just got the 1 and is now getting a squad of Ludas, which is basically a heavy machine gun team. Again, I know there's a lot of new people, new players who are attracted to Retribution, and many of them watch these videos, so I will try to keep things simple at least until we all get squared away with this game. Nice early game gen bashing going on here. Generators being bashed to the ground right now by these Slugga Boys. And up north here, you can see that the Shooter Boys and the War Boss are hacking away at yet another generator. So that's always useful early game, harassing the generators. It slows technology, slows upgrades, that sort of thing. Pretty useful there. Meanwhile, Sentinel is just kind of carving away at this squad of Heretics right now. Heretics have been upgraded with grenade launchers. You can see them shooting down from the high ground onto this poor squad of Guardsmen right now. Again, being very liberal with the Doom Bolt ability right there, and even a grenade volley coming out of those Heretics right now. Let's take a look at Caeltos' build order so far, and you will see, ooh, looks like he's going to get stomped here in a second. Ground pound, and they're just going to get knocked out, but I think that Sentinel knows it's taking too much damage having to get out of there. As I was going to say, he had his starting squad of Heretics and then opted for 2 squads of Chaos Space Marines. So he definitely wanted the kind of slow firepower half of all of this. Taking a look over at Vintage, by the way, Vintage went and got the Sentinel first, which we obviously saw, a 2nd Guardsman squad, and now has just introduced a Catachin Devil squad out on the field right now too. So pretty good looking stuff there. Also, I didn't notice this before, but check out the paint job on the Sentinel. It's nice and iridescent and just cool looking. I do like that. Anyhow, so towards the middle right now, you can see that Hellic is moving out with his Shooter Boys and this Luda squad right now. Luda squad setting up and likely going to suppress anybody who comes in for the time being. We do have a bit of a rumble going off here right now, likely explosive shot or that sort of thing coming out of the Catachin Devils. We had a bit of a grenade volley right there that was a total miss. Doom Bolt coming in and doing a bunch of damage to the Catachin Devils. And the Chaos Sorcerer right now just kind of focus firing these guys. It looks like the Inquisitor is now kind of left all alone for the time being. She's likely going to just retreat. There we go. Retreating on out of there, but definitely getting a little bit too overextended there. You can see that AlwayzLame has got 3 generators up here in the north, and a single generator out there right now for Caeltos as well. More towards the south, you can see that AlwayzLame's starting army is just kind of hanging out here. Looks like he went ahead and upgraded some Storm Boys, and right at the exact same time, it looks like Hellic also got some Storm Boys. So those will be on the field right now, just kind of making a mess of things. The Orc on Orc mirror match always kind of focuses around those kind of unit counters and seeing who adapts better. So, again, very liberal with the Doom Bolts here. Look at that, doing a lot of damage to that Shooter Boy squad. Picking off 2 models right now, taking a 3rd casualty as they are retreating through this big, massive Orcs here. Taking a look more towards the center, where we'll see a bunch of Imperial Guard and a Moonwalking Sentinel right now, just kind of holding their own here. But honestly, all of these Chaos Space Marines here have just a ton of firepower out there. You can see that this Luda squad right now is doing a good job of just kind of holding its own. And it looks like in the face of all that firepower, Caeltos decided to retreat with everybody right there, which is kind of interesting. Maybe he was worried about being too suppressed right there. So the Sentinel's moving out, the Guardsman moving out, and it looks like AlwayzLame kind of coming into the center, maybe for a little bit here to back up his buddy. And here we have the Storm Boys leaping on into attack right now. And man, instantly retreating with his own Storm Boys, not wanting to be shot up too much there. Looks like Hellic is just getting the heck on out of here. You can see these Storm Boys just kind of rocketing along. By the way, notice that AlwayzLame's War Boss has been upgraded with the Angry Bits war gear, which allows him the "Now I'm Angry," which is exactly what he's doing right now, charging in, stomping the ground as he goes, making little craters. Unfortunately, he totally missed right there, but you know, whatever. Oh, nice little sink kill right there, picking that gentleman up, introducing him to his chain axe, and then discarding him thoroughly. There's a nice little stomp also coming out of that War Boss right now, but now it looks like he's definitely suppressed. Gonna have to get on out of there. We do have a bunch of assaults going on right now here in the center. It looks like the Caeltos and Devils were kind of making a mess of that situation, probably combined with a Sentinel doing a stomp there. By the way, the Inquisitor has been upgraded to have her Holy Brazier, which gives her the Holy Pyre ability, kind of an AoE fire damage debuff kind of thing. And take a look around, a little bit of a weird thing there. But for the time being, it looks like, you know, now we start moving into sort of the ebb and flow phase of the game, where one army wins for a little bit. Wow, nice looking Doombolt just kind of going off there once again, wrecking away at these guys. Explosive shot there coming out of the Caeltos and Devils, doing some damage. And looking like the Sentinel's lining himself up for a ground pound on these retreating troops. Wham! There he goes. Stunning them a little bit, slowing them a little bit, but they're definitely just going to get out of there. Always a good idea, though, to try your best to intercept retreating troops with whatever damage you can, because, you know, you never know. You pick them off, they have to pay for more reinforcements, and, you know, you gain an advantage, so always shoot for that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, with the ebb and the flow working itself out here, you can see the Inquisitor really taking way too much damage. You can see both of these Shooter Boys have been upgraded pretty much right away. They were upgraded to the big shooters. So, doing a lot of range damage there. Storm Boys moving up from AlwayzLame, and it looks like they're getting a nice little flank here, perhaps, on Hellic Shooter Boys. Storm Boys now stomping on in, getting right on top of that Luda squad right there. Oh, doing a lot of damage to the Luda squad, but then getting stomped by that Sentinel and knocked completely back. Not going to be able to do any more damage for the time being. So instead, they're just going to rocket on in here and get really nice up and close and personal with the Caeltos and Devils, which is not the best idea when you're very wounded, so they are going to have to retreat away like crazy. Meanwhile, more towards the center, double shooter squads right now. Looks like even suppressing these Storm Boys a little bit right now. They have that aiming what's that ability, which they get from having the big shooter. That allows them to suppress for a little while, just for using a little bit of red. Meanwhile, we can see here that the War Boss getting a good stomp off here, pretty much trying his best to defend his Shooter Boys versus all of these Storm Boys. Storm Boys now, realizing they've had too much, going to go ahead and jetpack on out of there and take off for the time being here. War Boss, as always, going to charge on in there, trying to inflict at least another casualty if he can. Oh, God, now he's angry. He's charging. You can see him wrecking that one last model, knocking him over. Will he get the kill? Yes, he does. Chopping away at that little gentleman there. Meanwhile, not to be upstaged, it looks like Hellic's War Boss wants a piece of the action here. Note, by the way, pretty much everybody got Tier 2 already, although Vintage kind of lagging behind a little bit, just getting Tier 2 right now. And a War Truck coming out right now for AlwayzLame, and a Weird Boy coming out for Hellic. So I really got to say, I do enjoy... ooh, look at that nice little Doombolt combined with the Chaos Heretics worshipping. By the way, because the Chaos Sorcerer does follow the Chaos God Tzeentch, it means that his worshipping, the Chaos Heretics worshipping grants the Infiltrate. So all of these guys become invisible, which is about to become very relevant as they pop out of infiltration and completely take out that Sentinel and do a ton of damage. Oh my God, that infantry squad just got wrecked by that. But however, right as all of that was going on, it looked like the Inquisitor popped on in, dropping a Holy Pyre ability right in the middle of all of that. So doing pretty good job there, but she's going to have to retreat anyways. And unfortunately, these guys are just standing right in that Holy Pyre right now, taking a tiny bit of damage there. So notice, by the way, that this Chaos Sorcerer is just a baller. You can see him doing a pretty good job, just kind of zotting away there with his Staff of Warpfire, Rod of Warpfire. What I was going to say is both Chaos Space Marines have been upgraded to have the Hellfire Bolters ability, so they will be doing a lot more damage here versus heavy infantry and that sort of thing. Meanwhile, Stormboys rocketing on in, doing a bunch of damage, but being countered by a second squad of Stormboys jumping onto them. Oh, we do have a little bit of Dark Flames coming up there, as well as the Doom Bolt. You can see Dark Flames setting all these guys on fire, doing a little bit of damage to them. Pretty good stuff right there, and now the War Truck is moving on in. I really do like AlwayzLame's opening build order, how he went for, 2 squads of Shooter Boys. He got the Stormboys as they were needed, and then went straight for the War Truck. The War Truck, when properly microed, is just ridiculously effective, especially if you just stick your Slugga Boys in it and deal with it like that. So you can see Slugga Boys can just pop out and start repairing right away. That's looking pretty good. Meanwhile, this Weird Boy is doing his best to kind of keep these guys at bay, but you can see right now he's taking a ton of damage. You can see the kind of red glow of those Hellfire bolts hitting him right there. Doing a nice job, though, knocking back these Shooter Boys over and over and over again. But the Inquisitor coming on in, getting a couple of nice kills right there, hacking away with her little pyre. Oh, and these guys just getting wrecked again by the Catachan Devils. Now we can see the Chimera is out on the battlefield right now, charging in with all of its lasers right now. I'm assuming it has a Guardsman squad in it. No, it does not. Both Guardsman squads are accounted for. You can load these things up, though, and they have, side lasers and all that sort of thing. Doing a lot of damage here right now. It looks like these guys have been upgraded to have a Melt-A-Gun, too. I just saw that going off there. But, by the way, thank you for correcting me on my pronunciation of Chimera. I was calling it Chimera all last game. And that'll I'll blame that on Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 have got big flying chimeras, and I always call them chims to abbreviate, so I just end up calling it Chimera. But Chimera is the name. Here we have this Chimera, by the way, just kind of wrecking away at these guys. Again, having this big auto cannon, auto laser, and then all these side lasers, it can do a lot of damage out there if you're not too careful with it. So, meanwhile, just the Inquisitor getting knocked back and forth. Both sides right now, I believe, having a Weird Boy out, and we do have some Noise Marines out right now for Caeltos. Caeltos is pretty much entirely retreated, though, for the time being. And this Chimera is just zotting away at everything around here. Oh, and it looks like AlwayzLame's Warboss goes down, and here we have it. A big conflict right now. We've got Warp Vomit going off in the middle of all of this right now. A little bit of suppression fire coming out of these Shooter Boys up here. The War Truck is firing away like crazy. Oh, and Lovers embraced at death. It looks like both War Bosses go down right next to each other in the exact same position. Holy Pyre now affecting this side of the battlefield from that Inquisitor right now. And it looks like this Chimera is perhaps a little overextended. These Slugga Boys are getting right in close to it, chopping away at it right now. And here we have the Storm Boys jumping into the other side right now. And check out how wounded this War Truck is getting. War Truck being pursued by everybody. And boom, there goes the War Truck going out of control and popping into little pieces right there. And so for the time being, it looks like this Chimera is just kind of hanging on tough right now. The Chaos Space Marines taking quite a bit of damage from that as well, but exchanging some very nice fire up above. It looked like, could it be? Yes, they did. They completely took out all of the rest of those Storm Boys. It looks like he's building a Death Dread too right now, so we'll have to see what he's going to do with that. Boy, these Shooter Boys right now getting absolutely jibbed up here, taking a heck of a lot of damage. A single model left alive there. You can see that these Noise Marines up here doing a lot of damage. Oh, but being completely knocked back once again. And here come the Ogrins on the battlefield right now. It looks like that Death Dread was canceled and getting a replacement squad of Storm Boys instead.